Every great story needs its darkness. The villains who haunt the heroes shape their paths and push them beyond their limits. Today, we count down the most terrifying villains in Donghua, the forces, clans, and masterminds whose actions made these stories unforgettable. In Dragon Prince Yuan, the first true terror doesn't come from beasts or ancient monsters, but from a sect of humans consumed by ambition. The Sacred Palace, led by the cold and calculating Sacred King, didn't simply oppose Zhou Yuan. They ripped away his future before he even had a chance to live it. As a child, his sacred dragon blessing was stolen, his meridians crippled, his destiny shattered. From that moment forward, every breath he drew was a struggle against the fate they forced on him. Every step on his cultivation path was a climb out of the grave they dug. What makes the Sacred Palace truly terrifying is their unending obsession. Across the entire series, they stalk his journey, plotting, sabotaging, and striking from the shadows. They are a threat that refuses to die, a curse that follows him wherever he grows. What begins as a story of love and joy soon spirals into one of the most unforgettable tales of revenge of 2025. Her entire clan is massacred, and at the heart of the conspiracy lies the one she trusted most, Feng Yi Wenxue, her fiancé. Cold, calculating, and relentless, he orchestrates a nightmare that propels the protagonist onto a path of vengeance. Beneath it all, the shadow of the netherworld lingers, pulling strings from the darkness. But it is Feng Yi Wenxue's cruelty, obsession, and unflinching pursuit of profit that truly shapes the journey. A masked good guy whose every action appears noble is in truth a puppet of greater evil. While not the ultimate villain of the story, he rewrites destiny, turning love into terror and forging a path soaked in vengeance. In Perfect World, the first great evil doesn't come from gods or distant invaders, but from those closest to the protagonist, Shi Hao. His extended clan, driven by greed and ambition, steals his supreme bone at birth and gives it to his cousin, nearly ending Shi Hao's life before it even begins. Throughout his journey, Shi Hao is forced to navigate their schemes, their cruelty and relentless manipulation shaping his choices and bending his path at every turn. His cousin, raised as the false prodigy, becomes one of the most persistent and personal antagonists of his early and later journey. Even as Shi Hao ascends through realms and gains unimaginable power, the shadow of his family continues to influence him, their presence a constant reminder of betrayal and ambition. While Swallowed Star teams with villains, some capable of reshaping galaxies, the Golden Horned Beast rises above them all, a force that challenges not only the protagonist's strength, but his very destiny. A creature of unimaginable power, it can devour planets and lay waste to entire battlefields. During the Earth incident, humanity nearly faced annihilation, and countless warriors lost their lives confronting its overwhelming might. Every strategy, every decision of Luo Feng and the greatest heroes is shaped by the beast's relentless threat. It is more than raw power. It embodies evolution, dominance, and the struggle for survival, leaving scars on the universe and shaping the destiny of all who dare to oppose it. In Slay the Gods, terror takes the form of authority itself. The tyrannical heavenly forces loom over the world, enforcing their will with godly might and crushing anyone who dares oppose them. But they do not act alone. Utilizing cultivators, monstrous beings, and corrupted servants, they disrupt the balance between mortals and divine beings, bringing chaos, danger, and destruction wherever their influence reaches. Every strategy, every alliance, every step of the protagonist is shaped by the shadow of these immortal overlords. More than mere strength, they embody dominance, control, and the absolute authority of the heavens. Their purpose is clear: domination. Their tyranny forces the protagonist to evolve, adapt, and confront the impossible, proving that even gods can be the greatest source of fear. In The Legend and the Hero, terror has a name: Tien. The last ancient god, a being who has survived more than 100,000 years, Tien rules the heavens not with justice, but with fear. His power is absolute, and his authority unquestioned. Under his command, lesser gods act as extensions of his will, enforcing his tyranny, crushing mortals, and extinguishing rebellions before they can even draw breath. Each god becomes a weapon in his hands, a tool to maintain his divine empire. Kingdoms fall, races kneel, and entire civilizations tremble because Tien allows it or demands it. What makes him truly terrifying isn't just his unimaginable strength, but his belief that mortals and gods alike exist only to serve him. Wu Geng's entire journey becomes a battle against a being who rules all creation through terror and unbreakable control. In a record of mortals' journey, terror lurks in the shadows, the Ghost Spirit Sect. For many episodes, they hunt, manipulate, and experiment on cultivators, shaping not just lives, but the very path of cultivation itself. Ambushes, assassinations, and relentless pursuit force Han Li to adapt, fight, and grow stronger against impossible odds. Even after direct confrontations, their influence lingers, twisting alliances, turning innocents into pawns, and reminding all that power without conscience is unstoppable. The Ghost Spirit Sect is not merely strong. They are a system of fear, a hidden hand that guides destinies and forges Han Li's journey every step of the way. In Soul Land 1, BBDong is the true force of terror, present throughout the series and driving some of its most compelling developments. Her power is unmatched, her cruelty legendary, and her ambition knows no bounds. She manipulates allies and enemies alike, orchestrating chaos that spans entire sects and nations. Her presence forces Tang San and his companions to face challenges far beyond their limits, shaping their growth, testing their loyalty, and forging the path of the protagonist through fire and blood. What makes her truly terrifying isn't just strength. It's her obsession with domination, her willingness to crush anyone who stands in her way, and the shadow she casts over the entire world. One of the best-written villains, BBDong exemplifies how a single character can define an entire series. Battle Through the Heavens delivers no shortage of powerful enemies, but none cast a darker shadow than the Soul Hall, led by their final and most terrifying master, Hun Tiandi. Cold, ancient, and merciless, they stand behind every tragedy in Xuanyuan's life, from the abduction of his father to the kidnapping of his master and the destruction of his clan's peace. Their influence spreads across empires, pulling the strings of kings, sects, and entire factions, leaving chaos wherever their shadow falls. And one of their greatest puppets is Yuan. For more than a season, he dominates the conflict, chasing Xuanyuan into exile, crushing his home, and shaping him into the warrior he is forced to become. In truth, the Soul Hall plays one of the most significant roles in the entire series, a force that twists human ambition, consumes souls, and leaves nothing but destruction in its wake. Soul Hall, unquestionably one of the most terrifying villains in Donghua. In Renegade Immortal, the Teng family, led by Teng Xuanyuan, is a force of relentless cruelty. Though often serving the ambitions of higher masters from the upper realms, their own brutality is unforgettable, willing to sacrifice their entire sect, other cultivators, and even mortals to achieve their goals. From the very beginning, their pursuit haunts the protagonist Wang Lin, shaping the path of one of the most celebrated cultivation journeys in any Donghua. For a long and harrowing arc, they dominate his world, forging him into the warrior he must become. Though eventually defeated, their merciless influence leaves scars that define his destiny. I believe the Teng family played the biggest role in creating an amazing journey and building the perfect character. For me, these 10 forces, from ruthless clans to merciless masterminds, are among the most unforgettable figures in Donghua. Without their ambition, cruelty, and cunning, these epic journeys of power, revenge, and growth would never have reached the heights we love. It's not just the heroes who define these tales. It's the villains who make them legendary.